Hi everyone and welcome to the I'm Currently in podcast. Recently, several airlines have canceled their flights to Cuba due to a series of reasons. Changes in regulations and travel policies to the island, the economic and financial impact of operating flights to Cuba, and restrictions imposed by both governments. This has had a significant impact on travelers who were planning to visit Cuba, as the available flight options have been completely reduced. However, there are still alternatives for those who wanna visit or wish to visit the island, including flights with airlines that still operate to Cuba and considerations for alternative routes and layovers. That's why today we'll be discussing this topic and exploring different alternatives. In late October of 2023, the US company Southwest announced that starting in June 2024, it will move most of its international destinations from Fort Lauderdale Airport to Orlando, Florida. And among them will not be the island. Similarly, the Spanish company Iberjet will stop flying to Havana in January 2024. But a few months ago, it was already news that the US company JetBlue will suspend all its flights from the United States to Havana from mid-September. Faced with this wave, you may wonder why. In all the official statements from these airlines, the reason for the cancellation of their flights is constant. Their services are not sustainable. Apparently, at the beginning of 2023, the lease rates for charter operations increased significantly. In this sense, the companies that offer these trips to Cuba have canceled their flights, while they establish a new structure in response to this situation. Likewise, the lack of profitability of the route is another factor that adds to the airline's decision, as although there has been an increase in foreign visitors to the island in 2023, the numbers is still don't reach those achieved in 2019, all for different reasons, both external and internal. The majority of tourists entering the country come from Canada, the United States, Russia, Germany, and Spain. According to state figures, Canada continued to be the main market and has recovered by 80% compared to 2019, currently accounting for more than 50% of travelers visiting the island. Unfortunately, guys, we cannot say the same for the other main markets that the island receive. The economic situation in Europe, the ongoing conflicts there, the increase in fuel costs, and the insufficient recovery of air operations have greatly impacted travel from Europe. And with the United States, the things get a little more complicated, as there have been changes in regulations and travel policies to Cuba. The impact of the US embargo has even affected European citizens who, after coming to Cuba, must go in person to apply for a visa if they want to travel to the US territory later, because they are not given the right to the ESTA electronic visa. And you may wonder, what is ESTA? ESTA is the electronic system for travel authorization, and it is what will allow you to enter the US territory legally. The Department of State designed Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism on January of 2021. With limited exceptions, a traveler who has visited Cuba on or after this date is not eligible to travel under the visa waiver program, using an electronic system for travel authorization, the ESTA, and must apply for a visa to travel to the United States. This has been a major limitation for European travelers planning to visit the United States in the future, as it makes the process more complicated. From an internal perspective, due to the COVID-19, the economic situation in Cuba has only worsened, making it very difficult to obtain basic items such as food, hygiene products, or medication. In this sense, as the situation worsens, many travelers think twice before coming to Cuba, as they don't know what they will find once they arrive on the island. Another factor that makes many reconsider their arrival on the island is the monetary issue, as in the midst of the pandemic, the country underwent a reordering process where the national currency became the only valid currency, eliminating the old CUC and creating a whole black market for the sale of foreign currencies. In this black market, currencies fluctuate daily, becoming the perfect scenario for scams and frauds, as foreign currencies, especially USD and the euro, are the most commonly used to deposit in the MLC cards, where basic products are purchased. Thanks to our dear friend Holly, we can obtain some of the flights that still work from Cuba, especially from Miami. These are direct flights to Havana. You can find 8 daily flights from American Airlines, 2 from Delta, JetBlue has a few from Fort Lauderdale yet, and Southwest has several daily flights from Tampa. United Airlines has several from the New York area and Houston. Otherwise, you will stop over from other airports, usually in Miami, but could be from any of these airports. For the beginning of 2023, ECASA report which airlines travel to Cuba from Europe, the United States, Central America, and the Caribbean. And as a result, they indicate that more than 45 foreign airlines are conducting regular and charter flights to Cuba, with close to 400 weekly operations. Airlines that travel to Cuba from Miami and the rest of the United States are American Airlines travelers must have a visa and health insurance with coverage in Cuban territory. They have flights from Miami to Havana and from Charlotte to Havana with a price of almost $300 for the first and almost $450 for the second. But these first change constantly and depend a lot on the moment you're booking your ticket. The other is JetBlue, was the first airline to fly to Cuba after decades of severed relations between both governments. For all of these, you should consider alternative routes and layovers to get to the island in advance. In previous videos, we remind you of everything you need to travel to Cuba from the United States. So if you're planning to travel to the island, gather all this information. So guys, I hope this video has been useful to you and that you have been able to understand at least a little the situation of flights from the United States to Cuba. If you have already visited Cuba or have a friend or family member who has done so under these new regulations, let us know about their experience and their recommendations for alternative routes. Remember that the most important thing is to enjoy the country and its people. Our mission here is for you to vibe in the same tune and feel the Cuban culture on your visit. So if you are looking for high quality service and cultural trips to Cuba, visit the I'm Currently In website, where we provide luxury and cultural services for you to enjoy Cuba from the comfort. Feel free to check it out using the links down below. Remember to like if you enjoy it, leave us your opinion, and follow us for more content about Cuba. I am Gabby and this was I'm Currently In. As Alex says, chao pescado y a la vuelta picadillo. Bye bye.